All right, seeing new faces from the morning till afternoon. I hope you all had a good lunch. I didn't eat at all because I was so stressed for this conference, I'm just joking. Look, probably some of you, I want to go again quickly over the slide that I went through them this morning because some of you weren't here. At least you understand what we're talking about and why we mention about world-class manufacturing cost management systems. So let me take you back quickly over this only because I think I have 1 hour, right?
Yeah, you got an hour. Yeah.
1 hour. I'm going to share a lot with you. Excel sheets shows you about how we develop companies and how we took it from cost point of view and how we mounted the cost to ensure end result is profitability. I think that's what you're all interested about it, to understand the density of work. My computer is talking to me. Let me shut it down. Because I'm sure you're all interested about the density of work to come to change a concept, like from the way we run today. And as I said this morning, it's like almost 360 degrees changeover. And some people are scared for 360 degrees, but trust me, it's not, because improvement doesn't happen overnight. It's going to take years and years. There are companies, they've been claimed as a lean manufacturing almost in Asia, like especially in Sri Lanka, and they're still, until today, transforming factories after 10 years. And they are one of the best, I think, nominated for buyers, in which they have even lean schools today, educating most of the buyers, vendors, factories. So don't be discouraged. I think we've been suffering for so many years, for several decades. I don't think it's a big issue if it takes a year or 2 years or 3 years. I think it's a time just to take action and move forward. Action without, dream without an action, I think it's just a waste, and execution without an action, you're just killing yourself. So whatever we do, it's especially our garment industry. Can you hear me all in the back there? I'm trying to dominate because I see a lot of talking, side talking. So just to come back to this because it distracts me. What I was talking about. I told you I didn't have lunch. To come back to this, our industry is a labor-intensive industry. It is not machinery, you press the button and it moves on. It takes a lot of leadership in it. It takes a lot of knowledge, and it takes a way that you simplify those knowledge, because I believe most of the owners and chairmen and senior managers, they are fearing those transformation, those change, because as they believe, workers cannot adapt to it, which I don't believe it. But we haven't never tried it. So let me take you over this. As we said, we're talking about traditional cost system. Why your targets keep fluctuating all the time? Why you never achieve what you estimated? Imagine if your profitability is at 20%, your profit ratio is 20%. Am I speaking too fast? No, because I have 1 hour. I have to speed up. My father used to tell me this, just speak fast and you get it done. I'm stuck here, my flight midnight, so I have no problem. Viva Jet Airways. I was happy yesterday coming on Jet Airways. I said going back home. I felt being home on Jet Airways. Anyway, to come back to this, most of us, when it comes to manufacturing site facility, none of us mostly is involved in the costing concept, in the costing system. It's true. Am I right or wrong? None of you has an idea even about how the cost being made. None of you has an idea about the drivers that it led to the cost. And none of you has an idea even if you are an engineer and you are quality or you are merchandisers even, probably merchandisers they know because they're stuck in the product development department, which we call them marketing, and they had no choice because they submit the prices to the buyers. But when it comes to the factory, we totally in it. What we follow is set of goals, objective, sometimes realistic, sometimes none. Sometimes some objective, if you're not aware, in India, I discovered recently, some of the objectives are coming from FOB price. It means if my cost labor is, let's say, $2, to make it back and save, let's 50 cents for my profit, I want the production line to make those pieces in $1.50. It means they don't care, even if they have SMV, they don't care about the SMV, they don't care about manufacturing, they care only about average it out to $1.50 per piece. Does it make sense to you? This is what I'm talking about, job costing versus process costing. Job costing, we cost the bill of materials based on the product. That's your job costing. Comes to the sewing line, That's job costing. We take the SMV. But the results out of it to establish your cost per minute, it's a sum of the whole process covering simple style, complicated style, new operator, non-new operator, style have mechanical problems, style doesn't have mechanical problem. You know, it's a mess. So how does it work at the end of the day to monitor profit, which I'm going to show you today, all the key drivers that we're talking about, how broke profit all the way to the line people to maintain it, and how we develop management team to take care of it. So when you talk about all this, you know right away you are in the wrong place. You're not in a way that you are able to get your hands on to control what you talk about. Because for you is, for a company to grow at the end of the day and to face the challenges and all that we all talk about it, which I call the perfect storm this morning, you know, to face all the challenges and all that, and especially, you know, facing, you know, I don't believe price is going to change for the next few years to come. Be happy. I don't think. But I don't think even manufacturing costs is going to remain as they are today. They're just climbing month to month, you know. They keep changing. Salaries keep going up and all that. Some company, they said, you know, why I don't create a baseline for salary and just bring my company into incentive? Let them make more money. Everybody will be happy at the end of the encouraged to it. But how do I do this? I learned a lot from Chinese. I learned a lot from even Taiwanese. You know, I saw an incentive system connecting the whole garment factory together. It means if the mechanic neglects the sewing line, the supervisor has the authority to kick him out. Why? Because her incentive is tied up to the operator's incentives. The IE, his incentive is tied up to the production lines as well, because if he cannot troubleshoot a problem related to process, which engineering function is, why do I need this engineer for? To set only time standards? Any supervisor can do time standards, because we don't do even MTM1, MTM2, motion time measurement. We all follow base of time study. So when you look at all these problematics and all that, like the whole box of issues, you said there's something wrong, you know, doesn't make sense here. It means what we estimate is something, the way we run it is something else, and the way we get it doesn't match. So the companies, they moved into what we call, you know, they're looking at a system where, when this is the kind, what I ask, you know, like how can you manage, your company can plan costs and target and all that it suits the market needs as afforded by the market when you have no control on your cost. You have your control only when end of result, but it's too late. In world-class manufacturing, improvement is just in time. It means anything deviate and fall and skip off the line, we are able to bring it back on track instantly, immediately, with a second. But here, no, take your time, have meeting, we'll fix it out. Remember, profitability is not a daily issue. It's a midterm and long term. It means today I could fail. Tomorrow I'll make it up. But where do you have the tracking on the profitability to make it back up on the next week or second week and all that? So coming, you know, I think I spoke on your behalf about the challenges. I want to share your challenges when it comes to manufacturing costs, but due to time limited, I leave it for the questions at the end. Is that okay with you? Is that okay? I think like that doesn't cut my focus as well. Coming back to this, as I said, it's a complex. Imagine like setting up now, you know, keep one thing in mind. When it comes to profit control, you don't need to show any value in dollars or Indian rupees to any person. Time can replace it. Time is everything. If you want to improve lead time, you want to improve cost, both together they go as one-time strategy. It means none of the other works alone. If I improve cost, definitely I get lead time. If I don't improve my lead time, I don't improve my cost. If I improve my lead time, I improve my cost. Because they all could. Why? Because when you plan something to achieve it on time, you plan it based on your set of standards, and you got it if your time is on time. If the order is on time, it means you got it. There are certain things you are able to build it up. I'm going to accelerate because there's so much to show you. To move into this is to overcome, you know, we need to plan ways where we centralize all the costs and drive it. Imagine you have a factory today of 1,000 employees. And you have probably 6 buyers. But if you regroup your products and all that, there are certain products you need to think from value engineering. What it makes a product and a sewing line is the type of equipment, is the work method, similarity. So product family, not everybody like just being like just a blind like this and follow everybody talk about lean manufacturing by product family. It means this buy, we group t-shirt together. No. I could have one polo t-shirt in one product family and a polo t-shirt in another product family because those, they keep changing. Why? Based on the fundamental value engineering when it talks about engineering. It means there are equipment, there are similarity in practices, there are something we call skill center in operation. Not every operator has to be flexible. There are something called semi-flexible. There are something called one-on-one operation. I'll just share you. I'll show you the company that we built now for a Korean company recently. I have one person does packing. I have a group of 5 iron board. 2 people, 3 people. Every person does full operation on packing. We remove tagging to end of sewing line. We don't do tagging after ironing. We change a lot. Why? The Kanban, as you all know in lean manufacturing, when it moves from sewing, it moves by ratio packing. That becomes the new Kanban. Because my next demand, my next customer is the next process. The process is my carton. But here what people are doing, like putting, because everybody said, team concept connect the finishing with the sewing. Toyota has 500 processes. Do you think they make a car in one team? It's impossible. So there is something called multi-handling processes. There is something called cellular manufacturing, which we adopt a lot in world-class manufacturing. This is part of the just-in-time culture. So those are the kind of things we need to look into them, not just having ideas in the mind. You need really to build your own methodology, your own concept that suits your own needs. What your needs are, you need to identify them, and they're going to come from strategic planning. So Toyota, they reversed. This is some of the cost management system we adopt. It means today, if we change a company, if we set up a concept, we need a policy, because how are we going to drive people to maintain? Everyone has a role. Product planning, you have the product development, you have manufacturing preparation, and you have, after that, the merchandising. Then you have, on the second slide, you have the merchandiser, you have the manufacturer. Everyone contributes to the value of the product, and everyone has a responsibility to play in the improvement. And this is where quality assurance coming over it to make sure the job is done at the right time and the right way at the right place. You know, it's very long to go over this and read it, but you could see the activity and the involvement. When it comes to this, I ask myself now, if I have an engineering team, what skill I'm looking for? Definitely, anybody you recruit today doesn't have the skill because this is your operating system. You designed it. It means if tomorrow, staff A leave to company staff B, trust me, he cannot function at all. It's not about like worrying about training people and develop people and the next day they move to another company. They cannot fit even. Because everything is unique company-wise. It's not only one master program that we train everybody and everybody will follow it. It's unique. It means you build. You know, in sewing operation, something you don't know. You know, we compose sewing operation based on time and based on motion. We don't do same operation like you do today. It means I could do joint shoulder, for an example, if somebody from your garment. But what we do, you know, joint shoulder, there's hands moves to pick up a piece, bring it to the station, stitch it, align it, stitch it. There's several motions. We list all the motions related to one product, and we regroup the motion by time value to balance. You know, we have a course now. We promote it in Bangladesh in 2 months. It's called Back to Basic, MTM1 and MTM2, and I'll guarantee you 60% productivity improvement, but you need to forget completely how you do your own operation. It means there's no terminology. There are no books in the industry that tells you this is how we perform. Design your own way that it suits your own needs. And everybody keep talking about balancing. You never balance a line. You never, unless you have 4 or 5 operators running alone, those you balance them. But to have a chain of 12 people, 14, 16, you will never balance. You need to create some structure in place coming from value engineering in order for you to balance. But the issue is not all this. These are technical things. But to come back to cost management, not those things I'm talking about them is going to fix your cost management. This is one of the key drivers. Let me take, how much time do I have?
You have 45 minutes.
Oh, glad. So really, I was speeding up. You know, if we start from this philosophy, we want to have a company, an organization that has an approach and market approach where we have strong marketing intelligence. They are able to find the right suggested selling price that I could target it to the buyer and who might accept it easily. And the other things company they know, which we say in life, we have two things we cannot change, taxes and death. In organization, two things you cannot change, selling price and a profit. If your profit keep going like this, you will never have enough reservoir to face all the challenge in finance when it comes year to year. That's why you need to have stock behind with capital, like working and accumulating in order for you to face the challenges. So come back to this, you know, Toyota built the whole, if you read the Toyota Way, the book The Toyota Way, look at the Lexus car, LS400, is built on a target selling price and a target profit, and this was the birth of the cost management system of Toyota. They designed the whole company to meet the cost. And this is where product family becomes on board, world-class manufacturing. World-class manufacturing is not because you're lean manufacturing. It has a lot of component into it where you need the people to drive the concept, you need people to monitor the concept, and this is where it takes a strategic planning. Look, I'm going to jump from here. This is how it looks, the target costing. I'm going to just go straight to here. And after, I'm going to take you over my Excel sheets. So to achieve world-class status, you know, you need a structure of vision and principle and strategy. It means, first thing you need to tell them, like when we started recently, we changed our program with Walmart Asda in Bangladesh last year. They forbid the word lean manufacture because it becomes too much Mickey Mouse now. Everybody is lean expert. I was born in this industry almost. I started my career working after university in 1989. I certified for Toyota Song System TSS 1991. Until today, I think a lot of people know me and they could hear me year to year. I change a lot of things because I keep improving myself even, facing all the changes, the business trends and all that. How can you be expert and a black belt in no time? You're just born yesterday. It takes a lot, you know, like you don't have to be a perfect engineer. You have to be somebody with a business sense. Somebody is able to put that mind into strategic approach. And you could design your own way. So Toyota, they didn't really invent anything. What I admire in Toyota is the culture. Because Toyota runs the automobile industry. Everything is automated. We run labor here. How can you, like a lot of people, they tell me, you know, Charles, we have SMED, you know, single minutes exchange of dies, or the changeover in our garment factory. Toyota, they change dies. You know what I mean? It takes them days, and we change people here. We move people around. So how can you have SMED in your company? So what we did is we designed what we call value engineering. Before, we know the company, they want to go this way. They want to become world-class manufacturing. They want to have just-in-time culture systems. They want to drive costs, you know, from selling point and profit, and whatever difference in between selling price and target profit, it's become your allowable cost. That allowable cost, it moves where? To the merchandising department, it becomes the target cost. Merchandiser, engineering, mechanical, anybody will break their head to develop the best practices out of it, but your designing department has to be a mock-up of the way you run your production. It doesn't have to be like a couple sample rooms, you know, like a couple operators sitting and working their own when it comes to production. This is where you start finding out the best way to do it. It's too late. It's too late. So this is where the power, today we're shifting engineering, I'll tell you. We don't have engineering anymore in production line. Good news, huh? We have most engineering are lobbying in the cutting room. We build the workplace training, we build workplace organization, including planning and all that, and loading. You know, we load cutting table like we would load a marker. Same thing. You know how you mow, and you all worry about a marker efficiency, am I right? Cutting room is about table efficiency, not people efficiency, not how many pieces I get out of the day. Every inch of a table, available for 8 hours, makes money to me at the end of the day. I think we did a long time ago some study at Orient Fashion relate to this. You know, this is where the key. We have sometimes the wrong focus. Your supervisor, if they have the drivers, if they have the work method, you don't need to create, like everybody's creating SOP in the garment industry. Why? Oh, lean manufacturing, you need standardized operating. But when you do this, when they launch the style, everybody taking picture, then they post it and they display it. Isn't it too late? We're just laughing at each other. We're decorating our company, but the heart is bleeding at the end of the day. And this is something probably you don't know, because most of the people lobbying in the factory, not at the headquarters, they believe that company has a lot of orders. I mean, they're doing very good. Sometimes order doesn't define how profitable you are. You're just, trying to survive. Sometimes we do this as well. So coming to this, you need a company really to be interrelated, interacted. So if you are aiming to move toward class manufacturing, I'm going to show you the tough walk, where to go. First of all, I'm going to start from engineering value, since I know the practice and all that. Let me share with you what these are partial of. This is part of our program. Was recently in phase 4 and 5, because this time, as I said, Walmart asked that we change the word lean manufacturing. We call it manufacturing excellency, for operational excellency. We have a list of almost like 40 conditions for factory. If they sign 100% on it, committed, as they will pay 60% of the project. And this time the project was driven by set of objectives. We didn't walk in, we didn't start even until we get what the company is looking for, where you want to be, because as the belief now, you cannot change the factory in 1 year. You could change in 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, doesn't matter, as long we know where we're going. So you need to design this. So what we did here, we started, they want to have increased net profitability continuously. This is their vision in terms of financial perspective as a corporate. They want to increase profitability. They want to have flexible manufacturing concept, not to be like 100% flexible. Flexible, it means I could run 12, 24, 36 operating, I keep changing without affecting space, without affecting balance, without affecting all this. This is the flexibility. Then engineering, they have to think a little bit. They want to enhance worker value and satisfaction. It means they want people to take money home much than their salaries, because it's not the focus just salary. How much you could keep increasing salary, increase salary. You're going to reach a red line somewhere, red tape. So incentive is the target remuneration part when it comes to manufacture. The other one, they want better working together with the buyer, transparency. This is buyer is looking for it very soon, total transparency on your cost. That's why buyers, they're trying to eliminate even middlemen in these days to go directly with the factories as well. When it came to this, the factory management worked on strategic goals. Like if you take a project tomorrow, I didn't talk about gap analysis. I didn't talk about SWOT analysis. Still, we don't know where we're going yet, right? Because you cannot assess a company if you don't know what you're looking for. What you look for, you assess. Like when we do lean manufacturing. How many of you did lean manufacturing? You just jump into the floor, start assessing the company, value stream mapping, operation scanning, blah, 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 all the stories, but you don't know where you're going. You went on only discovery mission. But if I know exactly what you want, each one of you, trust me, nobody will sleep quietly every night until we get to the goal the way we want. But if that goal is not in front of me, I cannot take it. That's why I told you I stopped consultancy almost. Because tired of it, unless really you make up your mind where you want to go, nothing can stop us. We become unstoppable. So here it came. Here it came. Strategic goal, it means we need to focus on increased manufacturing efficiency, as everybody said, But everybody said this, but how? Everybody, we all talk about it, we all know it. So it came out to us, to the factory level. So we went into driving forces. So we got assess assets optimization strategy, continuous flow strategy. Now we still don't have ideas here. How we build the strategies, how we focus on those areas, how we minimize things in the. This is where really hard work comes. When it comes to Kaizen and all that, this is where it comes. As long as we know where we're heading with this. So we came with all this. Even energy, environmental is here, and even cost is here. Cost regrouped by product family, provide target and allowable cost to key people, set activity-based costs, and monitor actual, implement rapid continuous flow. All these said nicely. But how I do it again? This is where we all get stuck because nobody can take us, lift up to that step when somebody can get his hands dirty, roll up his sleeve, and start really digging hard and working to find out how we'll make it happen. And when you ask today about education, and you ask me about training, that's education, because a lot of people, they don't understand what it makes, what you call, what it doesn't mean rapid continuous improvement. Everyone has their own definition. That's a real education. But when it comes to the training, that's my training, the capital human here, the human capital. Building the people, but building them on what again? Building people. There are something we call, when we design this and all that, this is to see what is it. Your company is going to grow, is going to be profitable on the last part. The first three parts are all wishes, dream, roadmap, driving forces, but there are people to gear it. Those people require fundamental and key knowledge related to those topics. Beside that, how to do the job related to job specific, this becomes training. You understand what I mean? Are you following me? Is it too much? Don't worry about it. This takes me 2 days to do it. It's not too long. You know, the nice about the garment industry, they're all common. Trust me. How many companies I've been seeing, you know, like all around the world, almost 40 countries in my life, all has the same problem. Only language change, decoration change, infrastructure change, you know, luxury change, relation change, that's all. But the practice, the heart, the loss of money, you know, all the same. That's why I said the garment industry is not too complicated as you think. It's simple and easy, but to make people understand this is the challenge. It means take it from the ownership to the headquarters senior management and let them drive this strategically. This is where it gets stuck, because most of our projects so far, even working in Delhi, in Tirupur, Coimbatore, Chennai, and Bangalore, all the projects we work, nobody was involved from the senior level. So sometimes the industry get lost in the middle. You understand what I mean? So coming to this, we have run our gap analysis on those areas. Well, we have done SWOT analysis, but I don't want to share with you all these details. There are so much details. It depends on the business. It depends who they are. Because the issue is, and I don't know if you're all familiar with SWOT analysis, they have 4 factors. 2 of them are internal, 2 are external. The external are very easy, the threats from the buyers or the market, and the other is the opportunity, the good luck. But the 2 factors are weaknesses and strengths. Those are controlled by you. If you map your company today, how many company when I meet, everybody tells me, our company, very good, sophisticated equipment, young manpower, we do this, we do that. But this doesn't drive the industry. When you look into the essential, you see how much they're weak in order. So the issue is, when it comes to this, how can I take the weaknesses into strength and eliminate it to capture the opportunity and to eliminate the threats? So we run gap analysis. We do several analysis. We do drill down. If you are familiar with analytical analysis, we do drill down, we do a diagram, we do diamond analysis. We do so many, it depends on the situation be done. But this is very basic. I did it because some people, they want to understand it in terms of money and garment industry. So here we assess all the utilization in the company. We assess all the actions in the company. Then I know I have a target map, because my goal is going to be lobbying somewhere else. After that, we create a roadmap. I'm not going to go into all the details. We create a roadmap that will lead you to, you see, transformation is the last step. It's the last step. So much to do here from everyone. And after that, as Toyota, they use, there is something, are you familiar with the X matrix? Not the movie. Toyota, they use X matrix. X matrix is part of Hoshinkanri. I think he knows what I'm talking about. It's like a compass. Hoshinkanri define direction, which they align the entire management into one direction. It means the whole thing is into one page, that it takes you from the goals that you're looking for. Those are individual goals. The problem related to it, the Kaizen event, you're going to eliminate them, because as you see, it's a set of interrelated issues. It's not like one solution, one problem. Sometimes One solution can eliminate. You all know about Pareto principle, 80-20? Same thing here. You get 80% of waste, 20 solution can take them out. So don't be discouraged. It's very easy to move them. And then we set the teams to improve them, and this is where we move, we measure them. We call it the X matrix. It works on a mid and long-term strategy. Clear? So this, if anybody interested later, you could ask me many questions about it and all that. To do all this, you remember this morning I talked about sales group, right? This is sales group. Basic continuity, it means continuous production, people that do the same thing nonstop. Hear me out here. Imagine I do shirts. Most of the fashion happens on the shirt, let's say, out of the cuffs, the collars, happen on the body probably. Some companies said, you know what? Why I want to kill overall performance, put those skilled operations, which they could generate high efficiency, load them into a sewing line, and kill them through the assembly because of fashionable style. Some companies said, you know what, Charles? Since my stock after cutting is being already cut and lobbying in the cutting room for 4 hours, let's create a section there, and start doing cuffs and bundles. But say, oh no, lean manufacturer said 10 pieces, a lean flow. You know. I said, listen to me here. They're already sleeping there for 4 hours. Who's gonna, there are certain things you need to really balance it. There's a balance act here. You need to understand which one makes a value, which doesn't make a value to you, and take action against it. That will minimize a lot of pressure on your sewing line, and you make sewing line much easier and simple. Like a lot of you does blouses, does shirts and all that. A lot of you does, who does polo t-shirt here? Today polo t-shirt, we shifted from 14 minutes to 7.5 minutes. Don't ask me now, how? If some of you were in Singapore 2 years ago under Kohl's International Conference, we built the pilot concept for Kohl's vendors. I took 10 operators from Batam, Indonesia. I don't speak the language. Malaysian Chinese supervisors. I don't speak the language either. Trained them 10-hour supervisor, with signs and all that. She did exactly the essential thing. We brought them to Singapore and they performed. You ask me how many hours it takes? It depends if you know what you're looking for. You could hit the bottom line right away and all that, And this is KDS, Nitin Arora. He's from Gurgaon. He's the big boss of KDS Group, the large group in Bangladesh. They do polo t-shirt and all that. They increase on the first pilot now. This is second plan they're doing. They changed already first plan. Cutting room, 186% the cutting table. 186%. Do you know how many profit you can generate from this? It's all by using engineering and loading tables like a market efficiency loading when you do. Beside that, the sewing line on the polo t-shirt, they did 62% increased productivity immediately. And they brought it to 10 operators, not 24. They are, but this company, Nitin, he's taking it forward. Even he was in Stitching Apparel magazine 2 years ago. He's taking the whole group now into the change. But he's taking his time. It takes a lot of education to build people. So this is just to share with you. Companies, they change the costing formula and they make it by performance measure. Why? If you could see here, whatever I allow, these are allowable. I allow, let's say, for my manufacturing delays. Those are part of my costing formula, which I'm going to transfer into the people on the floor, but more in details as well. Because you tell supervisor production delay, she cannot figure, is that production delay or this production delay? So we're going to go in details as well. Those details, they're going to lead the supervisor to understand, which one to target on. So those are, you see, the variation between the costs, it changed from basic to fashion to this, it varies. It means not common product because we run target costing by job costing, not by process costing anymore. It means we regroup, the indirect costs in world-class manufacturing, they become direct cost, you know that? They are part of the transformation of the product, they are support. But they're still part of the transformation. If the production goes down, less quantity, those will go down as well. Today, like in our industry, because they are centralized, your production can go on a bad days or lack of orders, but the entire staff will remain the same. Am I right? So these are kind of things, it doesn't work like this in world-class manufacturing. It works by units of 50 to 150 employees in total, and in one company has multiple companies, and everyone driven by value stream. It's a value completely that connects it all together. So taking it from this to, this is how we design the goals. We came out to profit goal, company they want, this is the most to understand it. Company they want $1.08 per standard hour as profit. It means every hour produced on the floor, every operator, I'm going to take $1.08. Beside that, here is not FOB price, it's a labor overhead costing. Beside that, they said, for labor costing, I need, any product can be basic or whatever target is, I want $1.35. I don't care what the engineer they have to do, but you cannot exceed that cost of $1.35. This is where at the development engineering mechanic, because my cost per minute is 10 cents, I take that cost and I divide by 10 cents, it tells me how many SMV I want, and I'll work against it. After that, I have consumptions as well as you define your FOB. So the consumptions plus the profit plus this, it defines the selling price, your cost per standard hour almost, which you give it to the selling price. Now, they broke it down into produced hour, but the produced hours are broken down into performance measure, reject, rework, or the changeover. We tolerate supervisors to maintain all this. Now, what happens is, many companies, I'm going to show you, many companies monitor produced hours, right? They achieve it based on target. They're all happy. In world-class manufacturing, nah, it doesn't work. World-class manufacturing, they focus on every target. Because why? Imagine if I didn't have rework today. I didn't have reject. But I increased my order changeover by 20 minutes. But the result, and I got my production. In world-class, no. Every target has to be maintained. It means, where is the continuous improvement to keep reducing your cost as you go with the time? So it means if I improve the quality today and I improve the reject, it's okay order changeover? This is what's called continuous improvement. This is where, when you look at this, how can I bring supervisors and everybody to become and to fit in a culture like this is not complicated. It's only your commitment to take that road and to move forward, but take it on a small portion. Don't take 20,000 employees and change them in one shot. You need to take one pilot project, one company as a whole. So those are become the metrics and all that. This is how we design a factory. I'm going to minimize it. This factory has so many routes. It means some product embroidery, some product doesn't go embroidery, some product go printing, some product go washing, some product go printing, washing, total mix. We merge it, we connect it to one process. I'll share with, can I have a mic? I could move there. Just to tell you here, they have here the allowable cost. Sorry. Thank you. They have the allowable cost. Here they have a multifunctional team, which they generate all this in the pre-production. Now what we did is, we create the whole flow of the product. In some areas, we need to centralize. We move panel checking, bundling. We move panel checking, bundling, whatever you want to do on the cutting table. We cut only cutting table. This is being moved from here. We cut only cutting table for laying and cutting. We have companies in Hanoi, one of them called Rich Crystalware. It's a Taiwanese company. You know their cutting tables are function 8 hours non-stop? Because they do laying, cutting, the orders are behind each other. Laying, cutting, laying, cutting, laying, cutting non-stop. We centralize all the junk work, embroidery in, embroidery out, washing in, washing out, access printing in, out, panel checking, bundling. We all centralize into Kanban area. We control the cost. Because they become multifunctional team that could do anything at all. After that, we move the goods into sewing, and you see we could do the tagging and sewing and checking. Then he can go to washing. When it comes back, this is where we control the Kanban change. We change it according to the carton delivery. When we change according to the carton, we One employee can do the whole job in one shot, and we have no balancing problem, we have no this, we have no baba, whatever you want to call it. So we changed the whole concept, but to do this, you could see it here, to do this, we develop what does it require as the whole management system, because remember, the main issue remain here. Cost, this is production manufacturing management, and you need a system to guarantee the quality assurance over the whole concept. So what we did is, you could see here, we designed all this. Shared value engineering. We create the value engineering for every process. If you see here, there's a process here. We create what type of value engineering we're looking for, what type of information for order changeover we're looking for, what type of cost control and all that we're looking for, what type of time response we're looking for. We develop all the concept and system, but what we did here is, what we did here is, we didn't change your company. We just took everything you have. We sorted it out. How we sorted it out? Like this. We defined the component for every process. Like here you take the stores, or I give you the cutting. We define the component for the cutting. We said they are pre-production, operation planning, order allocation, point of use, practices and ethical, improvement, and Kaizen improvement. We said, and who are involved? These are the people in the cutting, and those are the people supporting them. We took all the management system you have, you don't know how much we found replication, unnecessary things, and we put it all into one chart. That chart, so it means we use your systems and after that we translate them into cross-reference sheet. Sorry. This is where we create the action plan to start developing the people. From that point, nothing has changed yet. You will see, from the GM all the way to the line people, everybody has a portion to work on it. And this is, I still have time?
Yes, you do. We want to keep some time for questions, so
All right.
probably have.
Because just I want to share with them value engineering on this side here. Look, there's so many files that I just try to jump in and out, just show. So we start with strategic planning. We identify the driving forces. We took them into a gap analysis. We identify all the gap and the action we need. Then we start designing concept, the methodology, the work method, the costing system. Then we scan the skill of workers like this. This is what I talked about this morning about key knowledge and all that. This is where we come. We identify what I'm looking for as a supervisor today. It means with the system that I'm changing, you need to define the expertise that you're looking for. It doesn't mean you're going to find somebody on the market with this expertise. Don't hunt. You need somebody with a good attitude, somebody is positive, somebody is willing, to engage and learn. This is your own concept. This is your style. The fundamental is your style. The key knowledge is the component that drive your business. And the job specific, the chart that I showed you before. So to adapt the people, this is the job specific where we need to adapt them in order for a supervisor to become talented supervisor. That's why I said you don't need too many engineers on the floor. Even the layout is being designed, like, the layout is being, I'll show you layouts, how it's done. It's done today by the mechanic and all that because we standardize the structure of layout in the engineering itself before I do the costing on the product. Those are the kind of things we change them. Let me see if I could gather it here, value. Oh, lovely charts. Let me share quickly some of the important things in the value. Order changeover. We categorize product by machinery flow. You see here, I have polo t-shirt and t-shirt, they work in the same flow. We categorize the position of operators. We create a skill center. Skill, it means if I recruit an operator tomorrow to position number 2, I know she has to do joint shoulders on the t-shirt, and she has to do collar tape and attach collar on the polo t-shirt. So I know exactly where to train my operators on. Why we did this is because we, and and this is the machinery flow. After that, we stabilized what we call elemental activity. I don't need to transfer work method. Engineering department integrate this into their engineering structure. It means every time they establish an SMV, they follow these principles. Those principles are controlled by operator. Everybody knows them in the company. So I don't need every time to tell them about the work method, the work method, the work method. After that, we create different type of layout, same space, same number of people, but very flexible, because in our strategic plan, we want flexibility. 16 people, 8 people, or 16, or 24, or 32, whatever, depends on the style. Because we categorize all our styles range. You could see here, it's one input, one output. We could have 2 input, 2 output. It means I split them. I could mix them. I could have 2 input, 1 output, to 1 output, and to 2 input. I could change them the way I want them, depends on the style category. Engineering standardize all this in the costing system before even they design a cost. This is where it takes a lot of work, to do on that side in order for you to design all this. And this is in the cutting room, the one it runs now in Hanoi. It runs like this. If you go on our Dagger Group Instagram, you see a lot of pictures, or our leancenter.net. You just connect to Google+, plenty of pictures on this. You could see the cutting. It works with auto spreader non-stop. 8 hours functioning on SMV value. If you talk about productive time, I will tell you 8 hours on 8 hours. Why? The support system was so strong, they never let them die. And the action is immediately like this. When I went to see them, what they told me, Charles, we applied everything you said to the word. Because the student in my class was the GM of that factory, almost 4,000 employees. He has the control on everything. And he's the one bought it. When he buys it, he buys in. Everyone was following him. I told you, everything starts from the top. If your GM roll his sleeves and start working with you and really engage and understand it, become a common language in the company, you could make a difference today. The problem we face, look, we didn't have too many success as we have too many failure. Failure doesn't mean like your consultant probably doesn't have the knowledge. It's sometimes the combination of the way you drive it puts you in the wrong directions. That's what it's all about. So this is their finishing packing. This is their loading tables. This is the length, the availability of the table. This is the length of the table. If they feed a marker, they know utilization. Imagine if I eliminate those and I book them for a marker. I know my utilization of the table somewhere here. I need an engineer to sit and do it all. Like if you do it all day long with one engineer, is it not accepted to do cutting room when it comes to this? I tell people, I never accept less than 160% improvement in the cutting room because it's easy. But the problem is, we put so many activity on that cutting table. And when you have so many activities, so many jobs, cutting room is a multi-handling process. When you have so many jobs in action, who's going to plan those people? It goes like by firefighting, hey, you're free, go there, you go here, you bring the... This is how it works. You waste mostly 65% of your time guiding people rather than managing. Cutting manager here, it's just multi-performance. Set the engine. Look, to wrap it up, because I'm 2 minutes, let me wrap it up. Look, there are so much to share with you. I just want to pinpoint out some issues. Just to tell you it's not too complicated. Let me share one example how I started now in Bangladesh. I told people, forget about lean manufacturing. Forget about changing your infrastructure. Education is important now to start and training. Let's look at the fundamental issues related to supervisor. Like we started one time with you, supervisor, work methods and all that. Give an assignment to supervise, start working on. Let's standardize our value engineering. Very simple. Start educating your supervisor to control their own production line. I will guarantee you get 20 to 30% efficiency immediately without even bothering. Later, you're going to worry about the balancing and all that. We're going to start talking about downsizing and this and that. But there are steps you could take forward, not wait until I build the strategy, start changing and putting everybody. There are fundamental things. We don't have them today. Those start working on them to bring them up to the service. When you have your entire company understand SMV, your entire company understand about work method, your entire company understand about absenteeism, effectiveness on cost and all that. Those are fundamental for every person to know about them. You're lean or you're not lean, you're world class or you're non-world class. It's very important for every person to understand all these elements and all that. And I think it's a time to start with them. And that you could generate efficiency even. I've been seeing supervisors like challenging even engineering because there's nobody, I will tell you honestly, better than your line supervisor to take you and lift you up to make money. But you're not spending money on it, you're spending money on everything else. I will tell you to me immediately, stop buying technology, stop investing in whatever it is, equipment and all that. Clean the house first. Even Toyota, they tell you, don't improve by buying technology because technology will pick up waste with the time and will pick up dirt and all that. First, fix your house. It means your management system, your foundation, your values. Your garment industry, labor intensive, has to have a set of value engineering, and you need a strong engineering to be not a work study. One last word to tell you. How many of you has work study department in your company? How many? You have also? Work study is work method design plus work measurement. You all have work measurement, but you never have any design. This is your problem where it starts. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Charles. That was very informative. We all want to become world-class manufacturers, and some of the suggestions you had in terms of, I think, the bottom line is there's a lot of improvements which we can do, start with. We don't need to wait for, the whole big picture to come in. There are certain things that we can do right away within our organizations. We have a few minutes where we can take some questions. Anybody has any questions, they can just raise their hands. Anybody? Okay. I have a question then. Charles, one of the challenges that government people have is that the target price given by the buyer is lower than our cost price sometimes. And nowadays this situation is coming more and more often. You talked about, selling price can't change, the profitability can't change, the costs obviously then cannot change, right? What do we do in such a situation? And my second question is a little different. You've talked about, I think, a lot on mass manufacturing. One of the challenges that we are seeing more and more often is on product development and how we can reduce our lead times. Those are some of the big challenges that we are having apart from the cost factors. So how do we link up our manufacturing strategy, and how do we link our world-class manufacturing when it comes to these two aspects?
Two questions. The first one I was talking about when I just look at all of you. So when I talk about the whole cost management, it's not for mass production. It's mostly for. That's why we called it the new manufacturing age and the way how the business is going. And when we talked about the cost and shifting the entire strength you have into product development, because this is where the complexity comes. Like meeting customer and beside that, you talk about, like, when we talk about manufacturing costs and all that, I try as much as I can to emphasize on, you need to redesign your manufacturing system. You need to redesign your management system in order to meet those manufacturing costs, because they're all becoming targeted costs at the end of the day. Definitely with the given condition that we are today, definitely we cannot meet probably the suggested selling price by the buyers and all that. But it's a time, this is not an issue of 1 day or 2 days or 3 days, like facing one case and I'll change it tomorrow. It's a long term. It's going to take years and years to move into this and to become a more in market-focused approach, more than in factory approach. It's not going to happen overnight. I've been seeing companies spending almost like 5-6 years and they're still working on it, but it's getting day by day better and better. And this is where you're going to take it. The second question you asked. First question. I answered second.
But
lead time.
Yeah, lead times. Yeah.
I repeat again, as I said, cost and lead time are one-time based strategy. Cost and lead time are one-time based strategy. It means, unfortunately, I cannot take you over so many slides to show you. That roadmap that you show at the end, the manufacturing flow with the operating system, is built on a lead time suggested by the company to achieve was Adidas. One was Adidas, the other was Nike as well. And the lead time, like it's feasible. Any company, you could change lead time even 1 day or 2 days or 3 days, depends whatever you want. But don't come and tell me now, oh, but the fabric issue charge and all that. Whatever I talk about is something within your house, something you have the control on it, because I cannot control your suppliers as we speak today. I cannot control your mills and all that. So whatever I'm talking about is something, anything you could design and you could build, lead time or cost. If you give me 1 second, I could show you that all your key drivers in the company, they're all tied up and linked to lead time and cost and whatever other KPIs you have in terms of customer satisfaction. So there is no improvement, such improvement only on lead time, and there is no such improvement only on cost. It's only one package goes put together. But you could build anything you wish, as long as you know what you want, but it's not going to take overnight, it's going to take a time. First, start with the talent of the people to cultivate them.
What is considered as a good efficiency level of SAM?
And which product?
In the international market, in a fashionable product like we do.
We have companies like what you do.
Yeah, like, where they are, let's say, little bit of laces, pin tucks, soft blouses that we make. So what should be the good efficiency of SAM?
When it comes to soft blouses and all that, you are on the basic fashion. Basic fashion, it means you have a lot of repeat, probably doesn't be the same style, but it's same repeat.
Right.
Can be similar product.
Right.
It should be at least at a minimum level of 85% efficiency.
85%.
Minimum.
So would you, in your training, achieve that for us after?
I could be a hero.
Is it going into?
I could be a hero. I could be so smart. I could be like the most talented person. But is your company willing to engage with me and roll up their sleeve and get dirty? That's what it takes.
Definitely.
If yes, no problem.
Then the next question is, what is the cost per minute? What is the average cost?
Cost per minute, cost consultancy.
Average cost consultant, I won't expose you here.
You know my cost. Anyway.
Because I'll get 20% of what you'll be charging others. No, I'm just joking. I mean, what should be the per minute cost, average per minute cost? Let's say in China,
India,
Vietnam,
I'll give you,
Bangladesh.
I did the study, I did it for Walmart.
Right.
In Sri Lanka, if you take like in your category of product, basic fashion,
Yeah,
can go in Sri Lanka between 5 cents to 8 cents per minute.
Sri Lanka.
In Bangladesh, you could take 1 cent off, but in India, it's a little bit higher. In India, some of the products are massive, which they could reach almost like 4 cents, even believe it or not, because people are doing the same thing, load of volume and all that. Now, the issue is why people get scared of going into lean manufacturing, because they believe is, I think some of you here, without mentioning the name, they believe is the more production operator has, the more efficient she is. But in my terminology, is not the way how we measure efficiency based on one operator, how much output she will give me. I take it against your turnover in terms of shipment versus the revenue you generate, and this is how we evaluate it. In your case, you have to be around, India is almost hit 10 cents per minute even on this. And there's a margin in India to reduce at least 40% in the cost, especially in Delhi.
So 10% is like almost 7 rupees a minute, which I think is the cost.
My calculator, mental one, doesn't work. How many rupees? But I know in dollars.
Yeah. No, 10 cents is like 7 rupees a minute.
Recent
I think
project,
that's what most of us are achieving.
like a recent project, I think something we discussed a long time ago with Ganesh as well. One client, they're doing leather in Vietnam. He just gave me the product. He said, Charles, I want to cut it down. In SMV, he didn't talk about processes, nothing, because that's what they do. Leather, they do, one guy does one garment. They don't do like a chain of reaction. He said, I want to cut it down to a certain level in order for me, because buyer asked him, if you could cut it by certain amount of money, I could give you full capacity and disorder and all that. We work on it and we get it done. There's so much you could engineer as long as you know what you're looking for. Look, improvement has no limit at all. We come from engineering background. We're not technical people like talking about SMV and this and that. It means we could mechanically change things to confirm. Why we change motion? Like this morning, everybody's talking about machine utilization. Is it? You know, there are so much technique to eliminate hand motion, boost your machine to be used more effectively. Even that's what gives you productivity. But definitely, there is margins of improvement in Dell here. Definitely.
Okay, my next question is a little bit of a practical question. That is, suppose that the buyer gives me a target of $5, and I have $3 gone into the components, which is fabric and accessories. Now I'm left with $2. And on $5, I'm working, let's say, on a 10% markup. So I have 50 cents kept for myself. So I have now to get the CMT down to $1.50. And it's not coming to $1.50 as per our expenses. It's coming to $2, right? Now, do I let go the order? Or you say, or you guarantee that there is a way that we can bring it down to $1.50?
Look,
because that is the
from my perspective,
problem. That's a challenge I think we are all facing.
From my perspective,
Much from that side, yeah.
Most people, what they do, they said, will take the chance and the risk and will push the people on the floor that will make it happen. But remember, your costing system and profitability is a process costing coming from the whole factory, not only particular style. So what one order is going to do bad to you versus other order. So it's a mix with the other order. If you want to maintain your buy, you'll take it as long as you know that you maintaining that change in the long run and all that. But you cannot live forever like this taking short orders.
So you're saying average it out and see that
Because
if you're losing something.
because this is how your cost is. Your profitability coming from the average of the whole process, not from. If you go by product value, and you control every employee, product, cost, manufacturer, then I tell you, forget about it.
Could you ask the crowd here how many would accept the order and how many would let go? Because I
Ask
want to know the psycho.
How many of you accept the order? Well, you go. He's a marketing man.
And everybody else will let go. A losing order. So I mean, these are the challenges. That's right. Yeah, that's correct. Absolutely correct.
I think that was an interesting thing, and anybody has more questions for Charles, they can, we'll.
Sorry. Just one thing to add to it here. You know why I told you don't dump the product? Because there are so many products on your floor that you think you're okay making money, but if you calculate it, you're already losing anyway. So what's the difference between this and that?